Well, as you can see, joined by another Premier League legend, and what a legend this man is, Andrew Coley, five-time Premier League winner, 2 FA Cups, Champions League as well, third on the all-time scoring list in the Premier League. A good friend of Dubai, I think I can safely say that. Very good afternoon to you, Andrew.
Hi, well, good afternoon from where you are, good morning from where I am.
Yeah, you're over in the UK. Where is home, Andrew? Where are you based right now?
I live in London now.
So you're down in London. And listen, mate, how have the past, I guess, 2.5 months been? I know it's been difficult for everyone, but how have you kind of particularly coped with the past few weeks?
Like you said, it's been tough for everyone. I'm no different. But I was kind of like locked down early doors. The government looked at me as being one of the vulnerable, and my lockdown was 12 weeks. You know, and that was difficult. I mean, the first few weeks you kind of like got used to it, but after that it's been a bit of a drag. You know, not being allowed out, and obviously not allowed people to come around my house or anything like that. But yeah, it's been tough. But like I said, I've been like everyone else.
I'm sure you did a few cartwheels like we all did with news that Project Restart, the Premier League, will be back a week on Wednesday. Excited to see it back, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it back, and I think I'm a bit like everyone else as well, a little bit worried as well, naturally for the players and everyone's well-being. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm not sure when the season's going to end now. You know, we'll have to wait and see. But so long as everyone goes out there and addresses themselves in the right manner, and we try and keep healthy and protect each other as well, fingers crossed it all runs well.
Yeah, you've said, Andrew, and we've spoken at length in the past, you know, you've said you were a high-risk case, if you will, with the onset of COVID-19. Well documented, life-saving kidney transplant back in 2017, I think it was, Coley. I mean, how has that been? How have the last few years been? I know you've given numerous interviews. You've been very candid about it all. As every passing day and every passing week, Coley, mentally, does it get easier or does it get tougher?
It's a tough one because ultimately you try and take it day by day first and foremost. You know, that's all you can try and live is day by day. I mean, this period for me, being locked down for so long, that's been the toughest part. Like I said, not being allowed out, not being able to do what you used to do. But in saying that, it's given me a lot of time to reflect as well on my playing career, the way I've lived my life, and what I've enjoyed, what I think I could have done better, and whatever maybe. So yeah, I think that part's been good as well. But then too much time on your hands, you know, you start to think a little bit too much. So yeah, so I think it's been the best of two evils.
Yeah, let's touch on, you say there, Coley, reflection. What are the areas, what are the periods in your career and perhaps that you have spent that little bit longer reflecting on?
I think my whole career, I've never really sat down and looked at my career and said, I enjoyed this part, I enjoyed that part. As soon as we've done something, I always try to move straight on and think about the season after. And I think looking back now, you know, I wish I'd have taken in things a hell of a lot more than I did at the time. You know, I remember when we won the treble in '99, I ended up going to Africa to do some charity work. I mean, not really taking in that I've won the treble. So like, I won the treble, do what you did, and straight to Africa, do some charity work. So I look at things like that now, and naturally I can't bring it back, but I say to myself, if you just sat down a little bit longer, thought about what you achieved, you know, you'd enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I actually did do. But that is life, and I think that's just me as an individual.
I want to take you back, if I can, Andrew. Give us a semblance. 1992, you're at Arsenal Football Club. You get a call from Bristol City, who were then in the second division, lest we forget. I think it was March 92. You go down there on loan. You have a whale of a time down there, to the point Bristol City actually then break their transfer record for you in the summer. I mean, give us an idea, leaving the bright lights of London, taking a chance and going down the footballing pyramid as you did then. The lesson and how important was that for the career that you eventually would go on to actually have as a footballer?
You see, when I made that move, I didn't even look at it like that. I knew, for whatever reason, Arsenal didn't fancy me to believe I was good enough to play in their first team. Before I moved to Bristol City, I had a call from Pat Rice, and he said to me, "Oh, Derby are interested. Would you go to Derby?" So I said, "Well, Arsenal prepared to sell me." And he said to me, "Right, I'll come back to you." And 30 years, 20 odd years later, nearly 30 years, I've never heard a word from Pat Rice again. So when the Bristol City move did come up, I thought, why not? I want to play games. I believe I'm good enough to play first team football. Like you said, it was in League Two. But for me, it wasn't like, oh, League Two, why should I be going to League Two? It's like, for me, it's like, I'm going to League Two because I know I'm good enough to play at League Two. And if I do well in League Two, anything's possible. But I want to play football now. I want to play league games now. So making that move on loan for me was like, that was a minor. When I made that move permanent in that summer, I made my decision, me and my brother, to be fair. My brother played my agent on a day. Yeah, it's crazy. We drove down to Bristol, sat down with Dennis Smith, had a chat. And because I'd already been there on loan, there wasn't too much. I really had to make my mind up. Wages, in those days, was a minor thing. I just said, yeah, I want to play football. And then Arsenal, like I said, it was a double-edged sword with Arsenal, you know. They sold me for 500 grand, but I had a sell-on clause as well. So in the back of their mind, I think it was us saying, well, he's not going to make it here, but possibilities that he could go and make it somewhere else. So let's put a sell-on clause. So £500,000 was a hell of a lot of money then for a kid who was unknown. And for Dennis to make that purchase, done all his budget on me, was a testament to him because he had to believe that I was good enough.
Yeah, amazing. I've spoken to a few Bristol City fans. I've been over in that part of the world, and still to this day, certainly of the modern day Bristol City players, Coley, an awful lot would have you as their best number 9. Did you love your time down there?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. When the Newcastle deal come back, I thought it was a bit quick, to be fair, because I was really enjoying Bristol. I mean, it was what, just over an hour and a bit back to London, which I spent most of my time. So for me personally, it was the best of both worlds. I could play my football, get my head down. I wasn't perceived as, a big name or anything like that. And it was a nice city as well, very nice city. So I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, a lot of people during lockdown have been tuning into Netflix, The Last Dance. I'm sure you've done likewise. Michael Jordan, the story of his final year and his career really at the Chicago Bulls. Fascinating you said there a little earlier about Pat Rice, and you never did hear from Arsenal again in all those years. Did that fuel you? A little like Michael Jordan said in the documentary, Andrew, about how people who doubted him, it actually fueled him to hit the heights. Did you ever think of Arsenal again throughout your career? Did that ever fuel you?
All the time. I think I played majority of my career being fueled by what people said about me, and I can't do this or I can't do that. So for me personally, I was always that individual that I would do it, and then once I've done it, I walk away from it or laugh at the individual or turn around and say, look, I've done it. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can say to me now. So yeah, that really did fuel me. I think even more so, when you leave and you retire and you've grown up, you're being more mature. A few months ago, I went into Arsenal. Steve Bold. I speak to Boldy. Obviously, I used to play against him and that when I was a kid. And he mentioned to me that him, Lee Dixon, and Tony Adams said to George Graham back then, he said, "You're mad. Why are you selling him? He's going to be a star." And when I listen to things like that, and then you listen to people like Geordie Armstrong, who's no longer here, you used to say to people that, we don't believe he scored 10 goals in the Premier League, that's why we sold him and things like that. But for me personally, now retired, and those people telling me those kind of things, like, wow, people's perceptions of you only come out later. So yeah, Arsenal really did fuel me when I left, because I always believed that I could play at a certain level. Did I believe I could play in the Premier League or, League One at the time? Of course I did. Did I believe I could go on and achieve what I achieved? Possibly not, but everything always falls into place.
Absolutely, and it did. Yeah, as you said, candid stuff about Bristol City. Your time there probably was a little too short, but it was short nonetheless. Newcastle United, another record transfer as it was at the time, Coley. You move up north. Talk to me about that move and you know, the contract negotiations. It was very easy with Bristol City. Your brother was there. You signed the contract. Similar at Newcastle, did your brother make another little cut out of that deal again?
My move to Newcastle is a strange one. I don't want to spoil the story, so I put it in my book. But oh man, my move to Newcastle was when we talk about the game now and agents in the game and what they do, and that was my first experience of a not so good agent. You know, I lost all my signing on fee. I mean, I never saw the agent again after the deal.
Wow.
He did another player to Newcastle, took another player to Newcastle. The player bumped the same agent that took the money off me. So it was like, oh my God. But yeah, the move to Newcastle was so random. When it did come about, I had a real good chat with Lee Clark, who was a good friend of mine. And I remember saying to him, Clark, it's very, very far. It's very, very far up north. And he kept saying, no, Coley, you'll be okay. I said, no, Clark, it's too far. I kept saying to him, it's too far. I mean, obviously being in London from I was 16, you know, and then playing at Bristol, like I said, I was always up and down the road. So London was my home. And all I kept thinking was, man, it's about 4 or 5 hours, man. I can't do it. But Clarky said, come on, lad, you'll be okay. And I think speaking with him for so long about it, and then actually speaking with Kevin, you know, I made a decision, and ultimately it all worked out in the end.
What's your relationship today like with the Magpies, the Toon Army, Coley? Because they are an endearing bunch. If you go up there and you do this business, they love you. I guess it's like every club, really. If you do the business for any club, they're going to love you. But you still have a good relationship with Newcastle fans?
You know, I'll be honest, you will have to ask them. There's been a lot of shenanigans gone on over the years regarding my move to Manchester United when I left Newcastle. And with all intents and purposes, I never actually instigated the move. You know, the move was instigated behind closed doors. How I understand it, Sir Alex Ferguson spoke to Joe Rule. Joe Rule said to Sir Alex Ferguson, there's a problem between me and Kevin, possibility that Kevin's prepared to sell. Sir Alex Ferguson makes a call after he tried for Frank Clark and Nottingham Forest. Frank Clark had left Nottingham Forest for the day. Calls Kevin, possibility of the move going on. He wanted to keep Gillespie. And then, as I said, the rest is history. So I never went in and said, I demand a transfer. I didn't say to Kevin, I didn't want to play for Newcastle anymore, anything like that. That's the way the move happened. And I've been to Newcastle a few times. And sometimes I get a good reception. Sometimes I get the odd punter saying, oh, you forced the move and you instigated this and you're this and you're that. And I'll turn around and say, well, hold up. Yeah. If someone's prepared to sell you, that means they don't want you anymore. Yeah. It's not as if at that time you gave me away for like £2 million. You know, you bought me for 1.75 and you sold me for 6 million. So at some stage you got to be happy, and then you brought in Les and Alan Shearer after that. People still give me a lot of grief because I left Newcastle. But if you're talking about you brought in players that can possibly win the championship, yeah? You brought Les in and you brought Alan Shearer. So some people, like I said, some are good, some are not so good, but I accept it for what it is.
Yeah, Newcastle fans getting, I guess, massively excited in the last few weeks. Talk of a Saudi takeover, which could catapult that football club into a whole new stratosphere. Let's be honest about it. I mean, they could be, competing with your Uniteds, your Cities, your Chelseas, your Liverpools, etc. Knowing that area as you do, that would be one heck of a story if they were to be taken over by the billionaires of Saudi. If
that does happen, you already touched on it. I think the opportunity for them for Newcastle to be amongst the football elite, is a good opportunity of that. Because there's no way the Saudi consultant want to go in and not spend any money. Of course they're going to spend money, you know. So if it happens, yeah, Newcastle within a few years, they will be mixing it. If they're going to spend money, they're going to look to bring big names in, possibility of changing the manager, you know, loads of possibilities there that Newcastle could be amongst the footballing elite.
You know Brucey, of course, played with him at United. Does he deserve an opportunity? We spoke, I actually caught up with Lee Clark, your good buddy, a few weeks back, and he said, you know what? You've got to be proper. You've got to give Steve a chance. Others would say, and an awful lot of Newcastle fans, I think the majority would be wanting your Pochettinos, your Allegris, etc. Knowing Steve as you do, Andy, trust him with a chequebook and trust him to kick on with a football club?
You've got to give him a chance, you know. He's done well now with his hands tied. You know, not many fans wanted him after Benitez left. Steve got the job, and I think he's done well. Yeah, you know, not scored many goals. Yeah, not won many games and that. But I think the main thing for Newcastle is, and he's solidified himself in the Premier League. And I think Steve's done that. Now, ultimately, once there's a big consortium, once there's a big takeover, the most fashionable thing is to do is get a big name manager. That's what happens in football. So we get someone to buy a football club for, I don't know, £250 million, which we're talking about at Newcastle. Yeah, it's a big consortium worth a lot of money. Punters are thinking, oh, we can get this manager now because we've got loads of money, and then he can entice these players to come as well, and whatever. Maybe sometimes it's not all about that. And you've got to be a slow process. I think Steve should be given an opportunity, but we'll have to wait and see.
He's one of many under Fergie, Andrew, to go on and actually forge a managerial career. A lot of the players you played with as well. Never fancy yourself. I know I've spoken to Yorkie length about it. For you and management, Andrew, was it not something you ever thought, you know what, I want to give this a go. I want to get my football fix through management and coaching?
No, not really. I didn't want to jump through any hoops. You know, I didn't want to jump through any hoops. For me personally, I played football at the highest level, and I think once you've done that, that should set you up in a way that you don't have to jump through hoops anymore. I know Dwight's always been mad crazy on wanting to become a manager, and I always say to him as my mate, yeah, if you want to become a manager, yeah, you've got to look at people, and people got to look at you as being serious. So you've got to be out there, you've got to be active, you've got to be doing the right things. You know, for me personally, like I said, I didn't want to jump through hoops to be a manager or to be a coach. I wanted the people to look at me as a man and not look at me and say, well, yeah, he's a black man, all this kind of nonsense. I can't do that, you know. So what I've really enjoyed doing now is being involved, like with Sol, who's taken me on his last two jobs. I've loved it. I've loved being back involved in football, but I've loved more than anything is that he believes and trusts me that I'm good enough to be in this role, you know, as a striker coach or attacking coach or whatever you want to call it. And that's given me a big buzz. That's half given me an appetite to say, yeah, you know, 3-4 days a week, I could actually do this. You know, it gets you back out on the grass and it makes you feel really good about yourself. So yeah, I could do it. But management, still for me, no. Like I said.
Let's get one. Sorry, Coley. Let's get one thing clear, because I don't want people to watch this and think, what, he wants to just go in at the top of the game. When you say jump through hoops, you're not meaning that you want a top job. You're happy to go in at the bottom and work your way up as managers do. Can you just clarify, what do you mean by hoops?
Yeah, I think Raheem Sterling mentioned it today, or his interview yesterday. You know what I mean? If we're all on a level playing field here, yeah, and that's what we're talking about. If we're on a level playing field, and if I've got to start at the bottom, I'd like to see my counterpart got to start at the bottom as well. I mean, like I said, all I can look at is, for me personally, is like working with Sol. Sol's first job was at Macclesfield. Yeah. Financially, nothing. You know? His second job has been Southend. He's been in the same predicament again. Now, Sterling mentioned, if you look at a Lampard or a Gerrard, their first job, or Lampard's first job, was Derby. Now that's a big difference to Macclesfield, you know. And then his second job goes in at Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea goes in at Rangers. Now, if you look at career-wise, they both achieved unbelievable things in their careers, just like Sol Campbell, you know. But when it comes to jobs, perspectives are one's got to start at the bottom and one's got to start at the top. That's not a level playing field for me. I mean, it can't be level, because ultimately someone turned around and said, well, we're not sure if he can do it at that level. He's got to start there first and foremost. He's got to work himself up. That's not level. That's not level. So when I say jumping through hoops, I'm not prepared to start at the bottom, yeah, and then see someone else start at the top. And you turn around and say, it's a roller. People actually question my ability, yeah, but I've proved my ability when I played at the highest level, exactly the same teams in whatever maybe. Yeah. So for me personally, I'm not prepared to do that.
So what's the answer to that? Because I wholeheartedly agree entirely with what you're saying. It needs to be a level playing field. That goes without saying. I can't quite believe we're even talking about that in 2020. From what you see it, Coley, and you're in the game, what needs to happen?
Like I said, for me personally, it's got to be equal opportunities. Like I said, level playing field. But ultimately, people have to entrust, you know, people like me or people like Sol, if they want the opportunity to coach at the highest level. I remember when I was at Man United and I retired and whatever, and I was going to Man United, Sir Alex Ferguson, Mickey Phelan, you said to me, right, come on, get yourself in, do your coaching badges. And they kept saying to me, I said, no, it's not for me. He said, Coley, what do you mean it's not for you? You know, it's not as if you don't understand the game or not play the game. But in my mind, I said, I don't want to jump through hoops. You know, I don't want to do it. You know, if I can do all my coaching qualifications and then I apply for a job and I'm on a level playing field with the opportunity that I might get that job, just like everybody else, I'll turn around and say, yeah, I'll do it. But I know that was never going to be the case. So for me, straight away, I was on the back foot and said to myself, no, I don't want to do it.
Can I ask you a frank question, Coley, and an honest answer required? Has anyone ever phoned you up? Has any chairman ever phoned you up to say, Coley, I want you to come in and interview. I want to have a chat with you about a job?
No.
Not one?
No. I said, for me, I'm fortunate that before, like I touched on Clarkie, when Clarkie was at Huddersfield, he took me at Huddersfield because we were mates. I mean, he trusted me that I could come in there and add a little something to the Huddersfield team, add something to the centre forwards or whatever, maybe. That was fantastic when I went in there. Same thing with Sol. He trusts me that I'm good enough to bring something into the football club he's going into. If they didn't believe that I was good enough to do it, yeah, they would never ask me that question. So like I always say to myself, you know, if I was ever going to go into football in a coaching capacity, I want someone to actually believe that I'm good enough to do it, not think about it's a quota and all that kind of, no. If I'm good enough, I'll do the job. If you don't think I'm good enough, I'm not good enough.
In light of that then, the Rooney Rule, which was brought into American football, has been brought over now, the EFL. I think it went in place, last year, is when they implemented that. To you, Coley, is that a token gesture, or is that actually a step in the right direction?
Nonsense. That for me is a nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You know, well, at least we've had the conversation. Well, I'm having a conversation with you now.
Yeah.
So after the conversation, you can turn and say, well, I had a conversation with Andy Cole. Yeah. How'd it go? Yeah, it was really good. But that doesn't mean you've got to come back to me. I mean, you've ticked the box to say you've had that conversation. And the sad thing is, I know an individual who has actually gone through that, you know, and then he's nowhere even near the job. And he was told this is for the quota. So the opportunity of getting a job is zero. I mean, I'm ticking boxes. So if you're ticking boxes, there's no point in talking to me. And that's why I thought when they come out, they said, oh yeah, you know, the Rooney Law and all. No, it's rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
It's ticking boxes for the sake of ticking boxes.
Yes, bullshit.
Black Lives Matter campaign, it has jumped to the front of news cycles around the globe. Finally, it seems, and again, there'll be those out there that say, listen, we've been here before. We've been here 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, Coley. Change, proper change at institutional level. Do you hold out hope
In my lifetime.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. But I see when things like this happen, all I think about straight away, and I think about obviously when my father came to England in the 50s from Jamaica, what he went through. I mean, to give me that opportunity. And I remember he never really spoke about what he went through. I mean, just 1-2 stories, and that is it. And then I'm growing up as a kid thinking, oh yeah, everything's hunky-dory, yeah, I'll just crack on with things. This when I'm a young boy and that, oh, come on, Dad, man, you're talking nonsense. You know, I don't understand that. You know, and then I get to a stage, I said, oh, okay, now I understand. You know, but like I said, when you're growing up as a kid, there is no colours. That's what people felt when we don't see colours, we see people for who they are. You know, but like I said, you grow, you get older, and all of a sudden, yeah, there is certain things put in front of you that you turn around and say, I'm not sure about that. But like I said, I mean, at 40, 48 now, I understand. When I was young, I said, my dad, oh, it's rubbish, nonsense, I'm not having it. When I wanted to play football when I was a kid, my dad used to say to me, not a chance. Of course I can, Dad. No, not a chance. Not a chance. You cannot play football. You have to be better than your counterpart by 3-4 times. I said, oh, Dad, man, you're talking nonsense. I didn't understand. But as I grew older, of course I understand. I mean, he was telling me how difficult it was going to be for me growing up as a young, aspiring black player, how difficult it was going to be to try and become a professional footballer.
In that regard then, Coley, through your career, was there a sense, did that stay with you, that feeling that you always had to go the extra mile? And I'm not for 1 second saying that any of your managers there was issues with your manager, just that kind of inherent in your mind, did you always feel I've got to take this one step further?
Yeah, definitely. That's where I've always tried to play my career. I always wanted to play my career. And first and foremost, I had to say myself how good I believed I was. I didn't need anyone else to tell me this or that. It's all about me, the individual. You know, so yeah, it was always tough as a young aspiring black player, especially when you become an apprentice and things like that. Because everything's labelled at young black players. They're not, when it's cold, they don't perform. You know, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's arrogant, he's surly, and all that. But I always say, people make these notions of us, but they don't actually get to know us. You know, how can I turn and say to an individual, "Are you arrogant?" I don't know you, but the way you look at me, the way I look at you, can turn and say, "Oh, he's arrogant. Oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Why has he got a chip on his shoulder?" But that generation, we all growing up, we all had a chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't be like confident. No. He wasn't allowed to be confident. Chip on his shoulder. I mean, if he fancied himself as a player, he was like, oh, he's arrogant. So that's what we've had to put up with.
With that in mind, Coley, I mean, I remember growing up and your career. You were front and centre as I was a wee boy growing up, and it was always something. Your kind of reputation. You've mentioned there the word surly. That was always kind of accusations that were levelled against you. I've been fortunate. I've spoken to you numerous occasions. I've never had that. Was that a persona you played up to? A, were you aware of it? Did you play up to it, Coley? Or was that a conscious decision to say, you know what, I want to project this to kind of protect myself a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. I had to look after myself. I mean, what I found throughout my career is that I was never prepared to give you everything you wanted. So you want the media boys and you want me to give you something, a story on X, Y, Z. I'll tell them, no, it's not for me. You're arrogant. Well, I thought it was a democracy, me personally. If you ask me a question and I don't want to answer it, I'm free to speak. I turn and say, no, I don't want to answer it. Yeah, I want to do it. So that has always been labelled at me from very, very early. Oh, he's arrogant, he's surly. How did you get to that judgment? Well, I asked him for an interview and he said no. Okay, is he entitled to do that? Yes, he is. But I'm on the press board or whatever, so you're entitled. You have to talk to me. I don't have to talk to you. If I want to talk to you, I talk to you. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to. And that's your job as well. If you want to talk to me, you say, I want to speak to Andy Cole. If you don't want to speak to me, I want to speak to such and such. That is your choice. So I've had that throughout my career, that I'm arrogant, surly. That's a nonsense. But that's their perception. I mean, that's the way that they want to look at it and work it, and the works like that throughout my footballing career.
You've said you've done a lot of reflection in the last few weeks. When you're looking back on that particular aspect, Andrew, of your career, the fact that the notion was you were arrogant and surly, do you think that had an impact on your career? And when I say career, I guess I'm more looking from an England perspective. Did the projection of the character or the perceived character of you and the way that it was presented in the media to fans, etc., did that play a part for you when you look back on that?
Yeah, I believe so. Because when you talk about punters, yeah, when a punter reads a newspaper or an article, whatever it is, yeah, that fixates in that punter's head. Bang. Yeah, he is. Yeah, look at the way he plays. Okay. Or I've seen him walking down the road and I didn't like the way he was walking. Or I walked up to him, I said hello to him, he said hello to me, then he walked off. Well, I'm entitled to do things like that. Because, I mean, most punters actually think that they know you. You know, they watch you on a Saturday, they know you. So if they see you on the street, you've got to stand there for 45 minutes, have a conversation with them. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, I say hi, I'm pleasant, I do what I've got to do. I go my way, you go your way. So people's perceptions are already distorted by what someone writes in the newspaper. So throughout my career, I've had, yeah, he's arrogant. Well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then someone will turn around and see you one day and say, oh, you know what? You're not what they say you are. So turn around and say, what's that? Oh, you're not arrogant or you're not surly. You're a nice guy. Oh, that's your perception. You know, I don't know where you got your perception from in the first place. But if you're going to read a newspaper and say, oh, that is an idiot, you're going to turn around and say, oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't like the way he walks or talks or whatever. And that's what it is. So throughout my career, yeah, I think that the media have hounded me for many years doing that. I think even more so when Glenn Hoddle come out with that comment, you know, that hampered my position to a certain extent. And then everyone started jumping on that bandwagon. But then the top and bottom of it is, Glenn mentioning that if I had all those chances that Glenn mentioned, the goals I would have scored would have been absolutely phenomenal. But then we got to we go to take that and say, well, I still got 187 goals in the Premier League. I've got one penalty. So that's actually proved just how good I was, regardless about all the chances that you believe I had or needed.
Just on that, when you heard that comment, do you remember the day when you heard it came out? And did you think, again, it comes back. I hate to go there, Andy, but you know where I'm going with this. Michael Jordan, chip on the shoulder. Again, someone else doubting you. Do you remember the day you read it and thought, what the bleeding heck is this?
I think the craziest day was I was going into training. May night, and I never ever bought newspapers or whatever. So I put some petrol in my car, walking to pay for the petrol, and I see it at a newsstand, you know, the newsstand. So I was like, what's this all about? I was like, oh, here we go, some nonsense. And I was absolutely fuming. And all I was thinking that, no, I need to reply to this nonsense. I need to reply. So I ended up doing an article after. But like I said, things like that, they stick. You know? And after that, everyone was saying, oh yeah, Glenn's right. Oh, Glenn's right. You know, I turned around and said, oh, Glenn's right. How is Glenn so right? Because basically, I get myself in so many positions, yeah, there's no one in the league gets themselves in this position. Because this guy's saying I need 5 or 6 chances. Man, I must be so good to be getting those 5 or 6 chances in the game. Yeah. So that's what I'm basically saying to everyone now. Yeah, really, I'm better than anybody else. Because all these chances you keep telling them I'm missing, yeah, if I took them all, man, I'd have been on 300 goals, easy. Yeah. But people don't look at it that way. They look at, yeah, he's right, yeah. Don't look at it and say, well, he's actually a good player, by the way, and he gets these chances because he gets himself in a good position. So they flip it on its head into a negative straight away. So I remember I just come out and said, look, I ain't got time for that nonsense, you know. I had to go back in. I mean, I said, look, top and bottom of it is judge me by the goals that I've scored. Yeah. And if you look at everything now, everything gets magnified down to stats. How many goals per minute, how many this and how many that. And if anyone wants to look at my record now, yeah, I'm still up there.
Yeah, you are. You're third still on that all-time list. Incredible.
Yeah.
The genius of Fergie, Andrew, it's often said siege mentality. It was always you against the world. Manchester United, everyone's against us. Did he use that Hoddle comment and use that and turned it and put that part of his psyche with you? Because I know you've said in a recent interview that no one really got you like Fergie. He knew you, the individual.
Yeah, that's what I loved about him. You know, what I loved about him as a manager, he knew how to get into my head, but he knew what my head was all about. I mean, he wouldn't want to get into my head and like play stupid games. I mean, he knew what I was all about. He knew the way I wanted to play. He knew what I'd give the team. He knew me as a person, what I wanted. And I remember always saying, you're very, very proud, and you know, you never want to fail. You always want to give, and that is me. So as a manager, I knew, 100% what I'd get from him. And I think for me personally, if I have a manager like that, he doesn't need to worry about me. He doesn't need to worry about me because he knows what I'm going to give him. So so when you talk about that siege mentality, I think when you go to Man United, you appreciate it straight away. There's not many teams that like Man United. You know, so the manager lets you know that, really does. There's not many teams that like us. Everyone wants to beat us. Every game is a cup final for them, which it is. You know, so being at Old Trafford, it was 38 cup finals every season. On top of that, the cups. You know, so that's for me personally, playing at Manchester United, such a great honour to play there, to be involved in those games week in, week out. No weekends off. That's what we always used to say. At Manchester United, there's no weekends off. There's no easy games.
You've said there, Coley, that he understood you better than many. How did he do that? Was that through conversations? Would he sit and converse with you guys about a range of subjects? Or was he the master at taking a step back, reading body language, reading who you were, and understanding you quickly through the power of just observing?
Bang on. That's what he used to do. He used to observe people's body language. I mean, I said we all grew up different. We all grew up different. You know, I've always been brought up to be very, very respectful of people. My older generation. I mean, when in first generation Caribbean growing up here, you know, we had to be respectful to our elders. Very, very respectful. We couldn't call anyone like Andrew or anything. I mean, we always had to call someone Mr. or Mrs. Jones, Peters, or whatever. That's where we grew up. You know. So I've always been that way, and he always knew that I was very, very respectful. I'm very, very proud and I'm very stubborn at the same time. And I like things done in a certain way. And if I feel that I've let myself down first and foremost, never mind anybody else, I'm disappointed in me first and foremost. And he knew those kind of things. You know, and that's why he was always good with me. I always say, don't be so hard on yourself or whatever it may be. Or, I mean, I'm the kind of individual that if someone screams and hollers at me, I don't really say a lot. But I'll go out there and do what I've got to do. And I'll come in and turn around and say, that's the Coley I want or whatever. Because he knew that to G me up, scream and holler at me, because I'm going out there to prove you wrong. And that's why he was so good as well.
Yeah, Keno, I think it was a few months back, it was a clip that went viral with Sky Sports. You know, they've obviously had their runnings. We've all had, and I would imagine you've had your run-ins with Fergie as well, but he paid him the ultimate accolade. He said there was never a time he came in, it would be thinking, what's he going to say here? How's he going to get us? And Keno said, a bit like Brian Clough, he never got it wrong. Was there a time, Coley, where you were perhaps somewhere in your mind and you thought, Fergie can't read me here, he's come in and he said something and you've just thought, my God, how have you got me right there? You've got me absolutely spot on.
Like I said, he was very good. He was very good in like when arguing with me. I mean, he was very good when he had to pull me into his office because he knew something was going on. I mean, man, I don't know how he done it. I mean, there's many times that he said to me, right, I need to see you. And I said, no, I don't need to see you. You come in, but I know such and such or whatever. You're not yourself or whatever it may be. And I'm saying to myself, I'm not quite sure he sees it, but he always knew those kind of things. And that's why I got so much respect for him. Because as a manager, he could get the best out of every single player whatever generation he managed in, because he was just that good.
The 10 days in 1999, you had Spurs on the Sunday, final game of the season, Newcastle the following Saturday in the FA Cup final, and of course that one night in Barcelona, the Camp Nou, on the following Wednesday. He dropped you. I say dropped you. He rested you for the Sunday against Spurs, didn't he? And I think you have said in previous interviews, you were absolutely raging that you were rested for that game.
I was devastated that he dropped me. He didn't rest me. He dropped me, and I was devastated. I remember he told me on a Saturday, and I was off like having a go. He was off saying me, "It doesn't matter. You're not changing my mind and whatever." And I was fuming because it was an unbelievable season, and I'm not saying it's a showpiece game, but it's the last game of the season. We need to win at Old Trafford and win the league. He wants me sitting on the bench. I want to play my part. He decided he was going to leave me out, and, But then again, you touched on it. He makes that decision whereby he believes that this can change the game. He brings me in at half-time, and unfortunately, I got to get the winner. But what I understand and speak with some of the boys the other day, when I did an interview with Sky, he said to Steve McKern that he'd made his decision to bring me on early doors. The game was too condensed, and he needed me to start stretching the game by going in behind and start causing top problems by running in behind. I come on, that's the first thing I've done. He's running behind, and I've got to go within the first few minutes. So you look at that and you turn around and say, so that is him. Always look to try and change things, always look to see what another player can actually bring. If he brings him on or changes the system before the game or whatever it may be.
In terms of a deflated Fergie, he always came across as a very positive man. He was always someone that was looking for the next success. He never let you boys rest on your laurels. That was one of his qualities. When looking at some of the lows, and perhaps some of your lows as well, Coley, in a United shirt, I guess two for me really stand out, and I'd be interested if they tally with what you have. I look at the West Ham game, final day of the 94-95 season. We all know, of course, Blackburn at Liverpool. And then there was the Borussia Dortmund semi-final in 97. I spoke with Paul Lambert a week or so back, in actual fact, 23 years to the day that he was man of the match in that final against Juve. In the semi-finals, the 2-1-0 defeats, they really stand out because I felt they were two opportunities for the football club. Do they live on in your memory? Is that two particular matches and games that really stand out?
Yeah, but definitely. Still disappointed about both of them. 95, and I said this the other day, but I felt like I'd let the club down, my teammates and whatever, because I was brought in to try and win the Premier League, just like everyone else was. But that day, Ludo McCloskey was unbelievable. And I was very, very harsh with myself. And everyone kept saying, "Oh, don't worry about it." But you know when you're in a situation and you work so hard, you've got there, and people want you to go on and do well. And like I said, I really felt that I'd let everyone down. And on top of that, my son was born that year. And my ex-partner then was getting in my ear about, "I can't believe you left to go and play football, and how could you leave me?" And so it's like, oh my God, do I need that? So you go out and play. I played a game against Southampton midweek. That takes us to another game against Coventry. Then we get to the last game, we're still in it. By the time everything had all happened and we ended up losing the league, I'm like, to myself, did I make the right decision? On this, on that. And that was a kind of like summer from hell. I think the only good thing about that, once I finally got my head around, is that my mates took me away for a holiday, and I had a real good holiday. So that was a write-off. Dortmund, I've always said, and I will always continue to say, we won the European Cup once, but that Manchester United team we could have won that European Cup possibly 3 or 4 times. Going out to Dortmund, to this day, I don't know how Dortmund beat us. I don't know how Dortmund beat us. I remember at Old Trafford, we absolutely battered them. Just clearing it off the line. Dortmund hardly caused us any problems that evening. And for some reason, it just wasn't meant to be. And I mean, it wasn't meant to be. And then, I mean, they end up getting the away goal winning. They go on to win the final. And I remember sitting there and saying to myself, I'm not quite sure. I can't, even now, I can't believe that they wasn't a better team than us. But on that day, Lady Luck was definitely with them. Because like I said, that game at Old Trafford, and wow.
Did Fergie show his emotion, Andrew? Did he hide the disappointment? Can you remember Fergie on both of those? Going out to Dortmund and on that final day, do you have an image seared in your mind of Fergie's face and body language?
On both, he was a bit disappointed. He was disappointed in the West Ham game. I remember that. He was really disappointed. You know, straight away he was talking about, come on, next season. I mean,
straight away. That in the dressing room.
We'll win the league next season. Not a problem. You know, got the confidence. I believe we can win the league. We should have won the league that year. I mean, like I said, I don't know how we didn't. Dortmund won. I remember coming the day after the training, the warm down, and that, and he was disappointed. At a little meeting, he was going through individuals saying, the improvements they've made, or possibly he can do better and whatever. And I remember that. It was, like I said, that night was, man, Dortmund. It's like, I mean, Dortmund left Old Trafford saying to himself, I'm not quite sure we've done a number on Man United here, but we've done a number. Because like I said, we played them off the park and should have won comfortably in the end.
What about King Eric? And I call him King Eric. Of course, Eric Cantona, a man who, I guess, we've all got kind of recent memories, if you know what I mean, Coley. We're always thinking of Ronaldo and, you know, United fans today. It's Martial, it's Rashford. You played with Eric, for goodness sake. Eric Cantona, a man who, his career, listen, he's could have probably written his career. You could probably write about 4 or 5 books on. What was he like? What was your relationship like with him?
Everything was cool. He was naturally he was a very, very talented player, and I'm surprised for whatever reason he didn't play for France many more times than he did. And I know they say in France, you know, they didn't perceive him as one of their best players because France was at that time littered with a hell of a lot of quality. But man, I'm very, very surprised. But when I come to Man United to play with him, his presence, just the way he played the game, you know, we always seemed to have this aura around him. A hell of a lot of time when he played the game. He was elegant. He was graceful. He was a quality player, especially for me as a young kid. Then I'm 25 then. I'm 25. I've had 1 season in the Premier League, 1.5 seasons in the Premier League. And then I end up going to Old Trafford and playing with players like Eric. So naturally, I'm trying to learn, but I'm still trying to find my feet in the Premier League as well. You know, so it was very, very special playing with him. I learned a lot from him, just like everybody else did.
Did he change after the infamous incident at Selhurst Park and Fergie backed him to the hilt? There's a famous story that Fergie came barging in and it was Gary Pallister who he had a rant and a rave against and Eric got away with it. But did the Eric that you knew and the one that came back, was he different at all?
No, I thought it most were even better. And Eric come back knowing, I'm not going to say knowing. Eric come back to prove to a lot of people, yeah, fair enough, what he's done is wrong, but I'm going to show you with my feet. And I think he definitely did that when he came back. He was fantastic.
I've spoken to Yorkie a bit like yourself at length, and I know we've touched on this in the past at various events, but the relationship you had with him, Yorkie's very matter of fact about it all. He says, listen, there's no magic bullet. I rocked up to the club, I sat next to Coley, I had a chat, I liked him, we spent time together, and the rest's history. Is that how you remember it, Coley? Or, you know, the relationship you two had was something else on the...
For me, it was very much like that. I know if Patrick Kluivert had come to Man United instead of Barcelona, I wouldn't have been at Manchester United. I mean, I've got to be brutally honest here. But when Yorkie came in, I just had this something in me to say, you know, he's coming, just try and help him. Try and help him settle. Yeah, try and help him find a house or whatever he needs. Just help. So I remember him coming out. He was staying in a hotel just down the road from my house. So we met up, bit of lunch, you know, and then I invited him around my house for dinner. I mean, showed him where to try and buy a house and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, we started a bond. We really started a bond and we became really good friends. Previously, we knew each other, being on the circuit, him being at Villa, me being at Man United or whatever. But we weren't friends to say, right, we're going to go out for dinner then. So as that changed, like I said, you know, we became really good friends off the football pitch. And then that turned into something special on the football pitch. You know, that when he first came, I wasn't in the team, I was nowhere near the team. So Yorke, I remember Yorke played with Coley, Teddy, Giggsy, Scozy. And then finally at Southampton, the old Dell, the manager picked the team in the morning and said, oh, okay, yeah, Coley, I'm going to play up front with Yorke today, because he tried everyone to see how they all play up with Yorke. Because Yorke was his number 9 then. Whatever happened, Yorke's going to be his number 9. And then I played then, and we all look back now, we all talk about it. The rest is history. I mean, how it worked then on that football pitch was how it worked to the end of that season, to the season after. You know, it was just something that was sent from the heavens. It was like something that wasn't meant to be, because it was never brought that way, but it fell into it. And then people will talk about this partnership of Andy Cole and Dwight Yorke for many, many years, but not knowing that partnership was never, ever meant to be. And that's what I always say to people now.
Fergie obviously saw what you did at the Dell, and I remember that game in actual fact. When the Monday ticks around, he's well aware that there's the semblance of a relationship there. It was Brian Kidd who was number 2. Steve McLaren then came in from Derby. I think it was in the January or Feb when Brian went off to Blackburn. Did you guys then start working? Was that partnership then honed on the training ground, Coley?
No.
That's something that just became off the cuff, natural?
No, it was all off the cuff. In training, you know, me and Yorke were never on the same team. So whatever five-a-side games we play, if we was ever to play five-a-side, it used to be England versus the rest of the world. You know, so we was never on the same team. We're going to play possession. Yeah, we might be on the same, but it's possession. I mean, it's not like it's a five-a-side, and you keep the ball. So there was never ever sessions said, right, okay, Coley and Yorke, you're going to work on this today. You're going to never. So people never understand. They say, no, you've got to have worked on it. We never worked on anything. You know, we were two people who understood what we wanted from each other on the football pitch. You know, our teammates were like, wow. I mean, if you get it for them two, then they'll just get on with it. You know, it's all the little interchange, the 1-2s and all that kind of stuff. Everything was off the cuff. And sometimes in life, this is what I've said many times. It's going to be in life, you're going to come across an individual, but you turn and say, wow, that individual's for me. That chemistry, it bonds. On a football pitch, that chemistry with me and Dwight was like, it was meant to be. And like I said, that's why for me, it was sent from the heavens. It was just meant to be. You know, the relationships, you might come across a beautiful woman, that chemistry like bonds straight away and say, bang, that's meant to be. You end up, I mean, for the rest of your life being together. That relationship with me and Dwight was sent at the right time and was just meant to be.
And in terms of a goal that summed up that relationship, I think you know where I'm going with this one, the 3-3 at the Camp Nou. I remember that goal as if it was yesterday, the Yorkie, the little 1-2, and then you reverse into the corner past Ruud Hesp, I think it was, the Dutch goalkeeper at the time at Barca. Is that the goal that you always, or is there perhaps another one that you say, hey, better check that out on YouTube? That was the one that I really...
No, there was loads. We got another one against Leicester. You know, at the old Filbert Street.
Filbert Street, yeah.
Yeah, there was goals there. There's a goal against Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. Sorry, one against West Ham at Old Trafford. For me personally, there was so many goals that me and him got, and people turn and say, how do you actually do it? I think why the Barcelona goal stood out so much with people was just the interplay.
Yeah.
The little over, it's a little 1-2, and then unfortunately I finish it off. And everyone talks about that, and I said, "Oh my God, these two are on such a wavelength. It's embarrassing now. There's no communication. There's no talking. There's no like, oh, do this or do that. It's everything done in silence. And that's what I loved as well. It's always in silence. Whatever he did, he's always in silence. So as I say, it's not always the loudest man in the room.
Were both of you quiet? I mean, Yorkie, smile larger than life, comes across as a larger than life character. But did you kind of keep yourselves to yourselves in the changing room?
Yeah, I'm polar opposite. You see, what I am as a person is I'm quiet. I'm very quiet. With the people I'm around and know me, I'm totally different. I'm a different animal. So what I give off around people who don't know me, they always turn around. So he's very quiet. He doesn't say a lot. But my train of thought is, okay, take football out of the way. What's my MO? Why do you want to get to know me? Yeah? No one can give you an answer. Mm. So that's why I turn around and say to me, I'm not being rude or anything. Yeah? You got to have a real reason to want to get to know me. If you take football out of it, why do you want to get to know me? So I'm very different to Dwight. I think that's why we gel so much. He's like you say, he's larger than life. I'm the introvert. I sit back and I watch. I have a laugh and joke, and sometimes he'll do my talking for me. He'll be around me and he'll do my talking. What you feel? Yeah, whatever. But that relationship for me works. It works because we get on so well. But when we're together, if we go out, night out or whatever, or do an interview or whatever it may be, we're always laughing. We're always laughing at each other, we're always having a good laugh and always having a good joke. We understand each other.
There is life after football, Coley. For that there is no doubt. Careers do come to an end. In the subject and sticking with Dwight, through all what you've gone through in the past 3 years, has he been someone that has been a real kind of pillar for you? Has he been a real mate? Forget being teammates and forget having a great telepathic relationship on a football pitch. Has he been there for you as well over the past 2 years?
Yeah, Yorkie's been cool. He's been really, really cool. I can't lie, he's been good, he'll give me a shout. He'll check in. He's said to me quite a few times, if you ever fancy coming over, just come and stay with me. And for me personally, that's what friends are about. I think, as the saying goes, you only know people's true value to death and illness. And I've realised that 100%. I've had so many people step up so much now. I turn and say to myself, wow, I didn't expect it. And the ones you expect it from, they kind of like disappear. So, like I said, Yorkie for me, he's a good guy. Good guy, he's got a good heart. And that's what I like about him. He's got a real good heart.
And Fergie as well, Andrew. It's the old, I don't want to get all soppy and cliched with you, but how many players have said their manager was like a father figure? I appreciate in the last couple of years, Sir Alex has had his own health issues with a brain hemorrhage, etc. Just the other day, Robbie Fowler was saying that he picked up the phone to him to ask about some managerial advice just around the time that he got ill. He got back to him. That's the kind of man Fergie was. And has he been someone that you've spoken to? Do you still stay in touch? Has he been?
Yeah, the gaffer's been cool, the gaffer. He phoned me about a month ago when I did a piece. He phoned me in a month. And he said to me, oh my God. He says, you're brave. I said to him, boss, me, I've always spoken my mind. He said, I know you're right, son. I know you're right. And then we just started to speak about some intricacies and all those kind of things. He said, just stick with it. I know it's difficult, but you just stick with it. And I turned around and said to myself, yeah, I have to. But I appreciate people like the manager, picking up the phone, giving me that cheer up when I needed it. And that was really, really good. But he is an individual who would always do that anyway. Like I touched on it earlier by saying, he kept getting into me about coaching and doing this and doing that. You got to coach. If he didn't believe I could coach, he would never say it. So I respect him on that level as well.
What about you, Coley, away from football? You mentioned there, and you were right to mention it. What is your MO? Why do you want to talk to me? You have been very forthright. You've been very candid about both the physical and the mental struggles that you've gone through. I would imagine you are seen now as a hero to a different generation for a very different reason. I mean, people reaching out to you, you know, how much has that kind of aided the ability for you to reason and understand it, but also to impart your kind of wisdom and your own experiences of it to a younger, and whether it be old or young, really, in a lot of ways?
Yeah, it's crazy because I never ever thought I could grow up to be a role model to anybody. I want to try to be a role model to myself. I mean, never mind anybody else. So, obviously, me speaking about going through the transplant, how difficult it's been, mentally, physically, how difficult it's been. And then for so many people to come out and, I mean, actually thank me for coming out and being so honest and being so frank. They're going through the same thing or whatever it may be. Yeah, of course that touches me because I know how difficult this is. I know there's many people who won't even come out and speak about it, but ultimately you're damaging yourself by not speaking about it. So yeah, like I said, a role model, or I'm just being honest. That's what I say to people. I'm just being honest. I mean, my legacy was never to be a role model. I just want my parents to be proud of me, my family to be proud of me, my kids to go out and be proud of me. And like I said, so when all these people tell me how much to respect me, my footballing career, what I've achieved and that, of course that makes you feel good. But ultimately, you know, that wasn't my goal. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to be the best that I could be. And that's what I say to everyone now. All I try to be is be the best person I can be day in, day out. Some days are tougher than others, but that's all I try to be.
Do you remember, Coley, that the happiest you've been on a football pitch, was it in Barcelona that night in May in '99, that euphoric feeling?
I got asked this question the other day. You know, that was most probably the best night in my footballing career.
Was it really?
Yeah, most probably, because all the pictures and all that, you've never ever seen me on any of the pictures. I was too busy taking in that day, that night, what we'd achieved, you know, people that should have been there to not there, and all these kind of things go through my mind. Man, I watched this tournament for so many years when I was a kid, and now I'm fortunate to win it, and all these things. So for me to get on all the pitches now, I didn't really care about getting on all the pitches and all that. You know, because I actually know that, I was part of it, and I've done something that was so special.
Have you watched the game back?
No.
You've never watched it? Have you watched any game back? Because I think the other one, I mean, Clive Tildesley, amazing commentator, a hero of mine growing up. It's actually the semi-final. Full steam ahead, Barcelona. Yorke goes down and you finish it off from a tight angle. Have you watched that match?
No. All I've seen is the goals on that. I've never watched the full game. All I've watched is the goals because, like I said, MUTV or...
Yeah.
Otherwise, no. Never watched the full game on that. I only watched the full game, 95 against Spurs, the other day. Like I said, it was one of those days when I see it and I said, man, let me just watch this. And I watched it, it was like, man, you know, you get a bit, I mean, goose pimpled up and all that kind of stuff. I've never watched the semi-final. The final against Newcastle. I've seen the goals, never watched the full game. So yeah, like I said, I never want to look back, but I reckon at some stage I would do it. But no, I don't think I'm ready to do it. I don't think I'm ready to sit down and watch them yet.
Yeah, you're a young man. You've still got plenty of time for that, Coley. Last couple, because I'm conscious that I've kept you already far too long. Put one thing to bed. Put this myth to bed for me if you can. Lothar Matthäus, 38 years young, heck of a player, trots off the pitch with 25 minutes to go in that European Cup final. Did you notice that he had left the field, and did you think, oh, we've got a better chance now that he's left?
Well, I knew he'd be substituted, but I wouldn't believe that until I said, oh, we've got a better chance now. No, he was still a very good player then, to be honest. You know, playing the role he played in as well, never really got exposed.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say, yeah, right, he's left the pitch here, we've got a great opportunity. No, not at all.
Mario Basler was celebrating with the fans at every corner. I know Bex has spoken about that. When that first goal went in, when Giggsy scuffs it, Sheringham scuffs it into the bottom corner, what went through your mind? I know Steve McLaren has said that it was like, right, we're going to reorganise, extra time. Fergie said, having none of it, it's us. The way this season has gone, did you think that as well? We've got time to do this.
I'll be honest with you, it didn't really matter who was playing against that season. We believed we could score goals, we could win games. Getting a late goal there, you know, was unbelievable. I believe we could have gone on and win the game. We played a game earlier on that season against Charlton at the Valley.
Yes.
1-1, and Yorke got a late header. And I said, for me, that sets everything up. I don't know why, in my mind, that set everything up. From that
Charlton game, the Charlton at the Valley, the 1-1, or the 1-0.
Bang. I said, I don't know what it was. That just resonates with me so much. I said, you know, this season is going to be special for some reason. It's going to be special. And it ended up being just that.
What a year it was. And Coley, before I let you go, I mean, I've got to get to transport you into present day. It's a former teammate of yours now in charge, following in the footsteps of Fergie and Sir Matt Ollie. Have you been impressed from what you've seen? Are United on the right track under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Yeah, I think Ole's done really well. Given time, he needed time. Yeah, it was difficult for him when he took over. I think slowly but surely, Ole's doing what he needs to be done. And I think when you manage Manchester United, you've got to get players to understand what Manchester United is all about. You know, ultimately, Man United should only play one way. That's galvanising, attacking football, attack and try and score goals. And I think Ollie's slowly starting to get back to that as well, which is good. So before the lockdown started, regarding the football, Man United were playing some real nice stuff. And I hope when we get started, the restart and that, we continue to play that way. Yeah, it's going to take a couple of games to get us back into it. And if we can hit the ground running, you know, fingers crossed we'll be able to finish in that 4th position.
A lot's been said and written about Jadon Sancho, this young whiz kid at Borussia Dortmund. He's getting goals, he's getting assists. He's very much in keeping with the United way in a lot of ways. He's pace, he's direct, he's got it all. He's got tricks as well. He kind of plays off the cuff, a little bit of a throwback to the glory days of United. You like him? Have you seen much of him, Coley?
I do like him. I like him. I think he's real talent. For Manchester United to get him out of Dortmund, naturally it's going to cost a right few quid. With this pandemic, what's gone on, I don't know if this season is going to be the season they'll be able to do it. You know, the Bundesliga's got some good players. I like Kingsley Coleman. I like the guy who's just gone to Chelsea.
Werner, yeah.
Yeah, I like him. They've got some talent over there. So, yeah, but Sancho, yeah. I said he could make any team better. But it's all about finances.
Absolutely, it is. The other one that I guess a lot of United fans, they're split over, Andy. It's the beauty of football. There's no right and wrong answer. It's all about opinions. Is Paul Pogba, is he someone who's misunderstood for you?
Yeah.
Does he get, perhaps, and I can think of one of your former bosses who has given him plenty of stick over the last few months. Is he an easy target?
Yeah, I think so. We all got, like I said, everything in football is about opinions. Yeah, I think Paul Pogba is one of the most talented midfield players in the world. I think he's gone on to prove that. He's won the World Cup, he played in Italy at a young age, he's won how many Scudettos, he won the Italian Cup, you know. So he's not, for me personally, he's not underachieved. He's come to Man United, and for whatever reason, it's not worked out the way we all wanted it to work out, Manchester. But that doesn't mean he can't work out. Now, I say to people when they ask me a question about him, he left a real good Juventus team. A real good Juventus team. Come back to Manchester United on a rebuild. Yeah. The rebuild has taken time at Manchester United. You know, it started, and certain players have not worked out, have started again, and certain players, and it's taken time. You know, so if you look at the Liverpool scenario, it's taken Liverpool 30 years to win the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, because ultimately they're going to go on and win the league. Yeah, it won't take Manchester United as long. Yeah, but how many years now Manchester United not won the league?
2013, so 7.
There you go. And there's a possibility of it being another 3 years. So that's going to be 10 years. You know, so it's not as easy as people think it is to win the league. You know, but I think with Paul's come to Manchester United in a rebuild, and it's not worked out the way, like I said before, and the way we've all wanted it to work out. But that doesn't mean he's a bad player. I think the only way you're going to get better is, you know, you keep adding better players to Manchester United, and Paul will blossom.
It's funny there, Coley, you say 7, you think it might be another 3 before United taste league success. It's unfathomable to think a decade could go past because United fans became so used to it. I mean, 10 years in the grand scheme of things isn't a long period of time. Did you take the success ever for granted? Did Fergie allow you to do that?
No. You can't take success for granted. You can't afford to do that. You know, we all love football, of course we do, but you can't take anything for granted. You know, I mean, we can't take life for granted. You know, I said in my past, tomorrow's not a given. So what we do today is, I mean, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring for us. We've got to get there first. You know, so in footballing terms, you can't take for granted. What? If you're Man United, you're going to win the league. But you play for Man United, you're going to win. No, it doesn't work like that. So like I said, 7 years later, Man United not won the league. And Man United in that time had some very good players, but not good enough to go on and win the league like Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool has not been good enough. So that's the top and bottom of it. Now you have to close the gap on those 2 teams, yeah, to win the league again. Yeah. But those 2 teams are going to look to kick forward again. So that's what football's about.
From everything that you've said in this conversation, Coley, you're a realist. I think I can say that. You are someone that kind of lives in the present. You don't really look back and I guess not so much celebrate, but you're someone I always think that you're looking ahead. With that in mind, your England career, any regrets there, or is it a case of it is what it was?
England, I have no regret whatsoever.
I knew you'd say that. I had a funny feeling.
It was what it was. It was never meant to be. It was a non-starter from day one, considering how I played every single level at England. By the time I got to senior level, there was so many obstacles put in front of me. It was never meant to be. So if something's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But I think as you get older, I realise and understand that. You know, when people say it's not meant to be, you know, things do happen for a reason in life. Most probably we'll never find out what those reasons are, but we turn and say, yeah. And that's how I look at things now. Certain things happen in your life for a reason. And with my England career, it was never meant to be. And
on that as well, it's well documented. I'm not going to go over old ground. The kind of relationship you had with Teddy, or the lack thereof. I did read that you've buried the hatchet now. You're kind of civil, and you always were civil, but it was something that's come to a head and you move on.
Yeah, look, I respect any fellow professional, yeah, who respects me. I greet people as they greet me. You know? The way he greeted me, I had no respect from that day. I mean, going forward, I had no respect for him. You know, I can only give you what you give me, and if you treat me in a way that I don't like, I would do exactly the same thing. So for me personally, there can be no argument. Yeah? So yeah, at that time when I played at Manchester United or whatever, you know, I had no time for me. You know, once you cross that white line, hey, we've got to do what we've got to do. I mean, once we come over the white line and the game's all over, things go back to normal. You know? But yeah, you know, as I got older, I looked back and said, look, it was what it was then. You know, ultimately, if someone crosses that line again, I mean, I'll do exactly the same things. I know you're not a genuine individual.
Because I think in my workplace, Coley, in all honesty, if that's happening in and around me, I would get nervous. I would be cracking jokes. I'd be kind of highlighting it. Did that happen? Did like Giggsy or Scholesy, was it an open joke?
Yeah, that's why I love my teammates. You know, is that they would always make a joke about that. They would always like say something about it or whatever. I mean, and I would laugh about it. All my teammates knew my personality, knew what I was about, and whatever. And I could get involved in all that banter. I get involved in. I mean, I get to a limit whereby I turn and say, "Nah, enough's enough," or whatever. But everything it was always cool. We always had a laugh and joke about it. I remember when he first signed, you know, and I got him for pre-season. And I remember the boys, they couldn't start laughing at me. They couldn't start laughing at me. They said, "Oh, Coley, man, you've got a few problems now, mate." So just things like that, you know. And I used to laugh because I had to. They knew the situation, you know. They knew at any time that situation could become very, very vulnerable, you know. But they was always very good. I remember Pally. I got a lot of respect for Pally. We went out for a drink one day, and he said to me, "Cole, I'm going to be very honest with you." He said, "Whatever you and Teddy have got, for me, it doesn't seem to matter. Just keep doing what you do," because we were scoring goals, we were playing well. He said, "Wow, just keep doing it." And for me personally, I've always respected my senior pros ever since I've been young. And for Pally to have said that at the time meant a real lot to me, so that I was doing my job and not being sidetracked by the issues I had with someone else.
And that's the ultimate professional. That's what you were, Coley. I want to get to the bottom of another quick story, and I promise you, I'm wrapping up soon. Blackburn, Graeme Souness had the idea to unite you and Yorkie, and then there was a training ground incident that Yorkie told us about. Never nutmeg Graeme Souness, right? That's the message.
Yeah, we had a few run-ins. Yeah, so I won't speak bad about Graeme. Graeme for me showed that he is a real man. A few years ago, I was in Doha doing the TV and that, and he pulled me. We had a chat. He apologised, you know, regarding the way he was when he was at Blackburn and whatever. And I thought to myself, wow, I'll take my hat off to you.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I could have done that, you know. Back end of last year, I saw him again. You know, he done it again, and you know, we was at an awards night and spoke about me glowingly. And then, I mean, even his wife apologised to me. I'm saying to myself, man, for me personally, I've got so much respect for you that you've actually come out your way and you've done that. You know, when we were playing, it was different as a manager. Yorkie nutmegs them, and he done Yorkie. He done Yorkie a beauty, to be fair, took a gash out of Yorkie's leg. But Yorkie being the way he is, you know, very, very calm, he said, "Come on, let's just play." So we continued to play. And then someone dropped a ball short, and the whites of Yorkie's eyes showed. And he absolutely launched Graeme. He took the ball, took the man, took everything. And that was it. The training session was over. I mean, Graeme called it off, and Yorkie said, "Well, come on, let's play. And I remember like it was yesterday, because I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing at the time with Yorkie then. That's most probably the first time in all the years I've seen him, and I've known him yet, angry. Very, very angry. He's like, this is my time now. And then after that, like I said, training was cancelled and whatever, but like I said, it's something that I will remember. It's something that I'll always bring a smile on my face.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And you went on to play for Nottingham Forest. You had Fulham, Pompey, and that. Man City. A lot of United fans might forget that as well. You enjoy your time. And again, no United bias here. Do you enjoy your time at City?
I enjoy my time everywhere. I think what for me in the end was disappointing. That I didn't want to make all those moves. I mean, my time was better at Blackburn. No, if my time was better at Blackburn, I wouldn't have left it. My aim was to retire by the time I was 35. And that was always my aim. You know, I wanted to retire at 35. I believed I'd done enough, and I enjoyed it, and I didn't want to end up doing what I did. But I felt that I still had so much to give. You know, when I left Blackburn under the situation, I had a year left, and I wanted to play. I felt like I said I had so much to give. And I went to Fulham, and I loved it. I loved it, but I'm an individual. I've never ever been good without my kids. I've got to have my kids around me. I've got to have, something about me. So I moved back to London, and my kids were still up north. And like the first few months, and that was good. It was summer. You got out and whatever. And then when winter comes, it's like I've got no one in the house, no noise, no kids or whatever. And I found that tough. So that was the reason I ended up leaving and going. I wanted to go back up north with my family. My kids were still up north, and that. Otherwise, like I said, if things had worked out better for me at Blackburn, I wouldn't have gone for it. I'd have finished at Blackburn. Just continue to enjoy my life. So going around them was like, ultimately, I was trying to find a home. You know, I ended up going to Portsmouth. I should never have gone to Portsmouth. Harry told me a few porkies. So I thought, yeah. I'll go and play a few games there. He's like, I told him, I said to myself again, Harry, why'd you bring me here? You treat me like I'm a young, 21-year-old. Come to the end of my career, you brought to Portsmouth. I've ended up leaving Man City. Yeah, you brought to Portsmouth to mug me off. I didn't come to Portsmouth for a retirement home. I'll come here because you said to me, right, I'm going to give you a 2-year contract. You're going to play games. I thought, yeah, brilliant. If Man City had given me another year contract to make a 2-year contract, I'd never left Man City. But Man City was saying, not sure your age. You got an injury. Well, if you rehab me properly, I'd have come back from my injury.
Yeah.
So there would have been no problem. So I ended up going to Portsmouth because I've got a 2-year contract. And in the end, I'm turning around saying to myself, it's nonsense. I should never have left. But when you're in football and you see things differently, you make those decisions that ultimately don't turn out well in the end.
And ultimately, Andy, your career had to come to an end. Do you remember that first summer, the first day when all the players are heading back to pre-season? Do you remember having a thought, thinking, oof, tell you what, I'm feeling...
Yeah, even if I hated pre-season, and I hated pre-season with a passion, I always look forward to going back for the banter. I want to be back for the banter, the first day of the banter. Naturally, of course, we're going to talk about holidays, we had a nice break, or whatever, but the banter starts straight away. And that's one thing I miss about being in professional football is the banter, the camaraderie, the 9-10 months together. The arguments, the disappointment, the laughter, the joy, the winning, not so much the losing, but the competing. You can't, as professional footballers, you can never ever bring that back because our sense of humour is totally different. I think if you speak to anyone, what do you miss more than anything? Dressing room banter. Because it's unreal, the banter, the camaraderie. It's brilliant.
What about the ball hitting the back of the net, Coley? We've all done it, but not nearly to the level that you've done it and the regularity as well. Again, recently Scholesy, I think Ruud van Nistelrooy obsessed with him. First thing he did on the bus was check if Thierry Henry had bloody scored one on the Saturday. Do you miss that feeling of the ball hitting the back of the net, fans up, and just wheeling away?
No, that wasn't me. That definitely wasn't me. Ruud was obsessed. Because Ruud's an individual who's obsessed with, he had to score goals. It's got to be me, it's got to be me. You could win 5-0 if Ruud hadn't scored. Ruud, he wouldn't talk to you. Nah, I always said, when I retired, I want to retire on my terms. Just like when I started playing, I said I want to do it my way. And I did it my way, and I retired on my terms. So do I miss the ball hitting the back of the net? No. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing what I was doing when I was doing it, so I don't miss that.
Incredible.
All that, I miss that, but I will always miss being around the boys. I will always miss being around them. Ultimately, when you spend 20 years of your life with teammates and doing what you're doing, for me personally, there's no better feeling. If you like someone, you don't like someone. You might not like someone, but you're going to like 9 other people. So for me, it never really mattered. It never mattered, but I just love being involved in it.
if I could transfer you back to one place, would it be that open top bus in '99 going through Manchester? I think Yorkie had the big cigars out. The 3 trophies were there. Do you recall that?
Yeah, most probably would be, because I've never seen so many people in Manchester. Never seen so many people. And I've never, not in my wildest dreams, would I ever believe that I would be in this position. Now, as kids growing up, you always think about, playing in the European Cup, or I want to play in the FA Cup final, or whatever it may be. But when you're actually there, you've done it, you've been involved in it, it's something that you look back and you turn and say, man, this is unbelievable. It's a great, great feeling to know that you've been part of that, being part of history that people will forever speak about.
Incredible, Coley. Listen, I've kept you an hour and a half. I can't thank you enough for you regaling the tales. You've been as honest and candid as you always are. I can't thank you enough for doing just that as well, Coley. And, you know, from me, just wishing you the very best kind of moving forward. It's always great having you over here in Dubai. You got to take Yorkie up on one of his offers.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to get back over here.
Yeah. Well, when it gets a little bit cooler, I'll come over.
And then what's the plans then for you now? Obviously, you're still doing a bit with Sol in your career and coaching. Is that an area you want to just keep ticking over?
No, I think I will keep that ticking over. I think all depends what the big man's doing. You know, if the big man's still prepared to have me involved, I'll get involved 100%. We get on. First and foremost, you know, we get on, we have a laugh and joke. And what I am now, I'm totally different to when I was a player. I go in and I love banter with the players. I love a laugh and love a joke. When I was like playing in there, I was told I was very focused and I always have banter with the lads and that. I mean, but with the coaching staff, it's different. Now I'm on the coaching staff. For me, I look at it, I've got to be in there. I've got to have a banter with them. Now I've got to try and break it up from so being like, I got another laugh and joke. So yeah, whatever he decides to do, I'll do. If we stay or if we go, he has to make that decision on what he's doing with it. I went in with him, and I always say, if I ever work in this capacity, if I go in with someone, I come out with them.
Yeah. If
they bring me in, I'm not going to sit around and say, oh, no, I'm staying on. If you brought me in, if you leave, get sacked or whatever, I go as well.
And he's got a chance, Andrew, from what you're seeing of him, taking away the fact you're close to him, he's a mate, he's got the minerals, he's got what it takes.
Yeah, definitely. Me personally, I can't wait until he's given that opportunity to manage on a higher stage. I think he'll prove to a lot of people that he's got more than the minerals, definitely.
Watch this space on that front. Andrew Cole, a man who's won 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, a Champions League, a First Division, lest we forget, with Newcastle as well. Absolute pleasure, Coley. Stay safe. Keep well, my friend. And as I say, we'll see you in Dubai very soon.
Thank you very much.